Although known in the mid-20th century as one of the leading Latin performers in the United States, Diosa Costello is today largely forgotten. Performing on stage and screen, as well as with musicians including Pedro Flores, José Morán, Noro Morales, Miguelito Valdés, and Desi Arnaz, Diosa was famous and used her position to help many young performers get their starts. But this flamboyant Puerto Riqueña, known as the original Latin bombshell, just loved to dance. Born in Guayama, the city of witches, in 1917, Juana de Dios Castrillo had to grow up fast. Her father, a traveling merchant, died when she was a young girl. She remembers singing and dancing to entertain him as he lay in bed, sick with pneumonia. With her mother and sisters, she moved to San Juan, living near El Morro, and little Juana would regularly escape from the house to sing for pennies the soldiers would give her. Overwhelmed with providing for the children, her mother placed Juana and a sister in the Hogar Insular de Niñas in Miramar. From there she could see across the lagoon to the Condado Hotel. She left school after 8th grade when her sister graduated, and the family moved to New York, where she worked odd jobs in candy and shoe factories. Soon she was performing on stage, in the chorus at Teatro San Jose, and she adopted the name Diosa Costello. She made her first recordings with Pedro Flores' sexteto while in her teens. Through the early 1930s, Diosa performed in theaters and clubs in Spanish Harlem, where talent scouts spotted her and she began getting bookings downtown. Her first stardom came at the famous nightclub La Conga, where she often performed with the then unknown Cuban conga player Desi Arnaz. They were also romantically involved, although Desi was madly jealous and neither wanted to settle down. Broadway producer and rumba fanatic George Abbott loved dancing with Diosa. They called themselves Abbott and Costello for fun, and he wanted her for a Rodgers and Hart show he was producing, Too Many Girls. Diosa convinced him to have a part added for Desi, and the show opened on Broadway in 1939.
All dressed up, speaking Spanish, and I got no place to go. Got some things I got to show. All dressed up, speaking Spanish, no one takes me for a ride. Haven't got a thing to hide. I want to go where the man makes music and fly till the night is day. Cock-a-doodle, daddy, speaking Spanish, no that night to cook and sew. Here's that girl, but where's the dough? I want to go Latin has a temper, Latins have no brain, and they quarrel as they walk in Latin lovers' lane. So before you lose your temper, listen, Señor Manuelito, and I tell to you the story of Pepita and Pepito. She could shake the maracas, he could play the guitar, but he lived in Havana and she done in Rio del Mar. So she shook her maracas in a Portuguese bar. While he strummed in Havana, the distance between them was far. By and by, he got a job with a band in Holland. She got got a job with a band in Holland. Ay, ay, ay. He said, I'm the attraction. She said, I am the star. But they finally married and now see how happy they are. So shake your maracas and play your guitar.
The show was quite popular and was picked up for a Hollywood film, but Diosa wasn't interested in traveling at the time, and her role went to Ann Miller. Desi went to Hollywood for the film, and on the set met a young co-star named Lucille Ball. They fell in love and were soon married. Diosa was publicly reported to be furious. The Police Gazette, leading scandal rag of the time, quoted her. "Oh, I was very mad then. I really tear right into her. I say, what he see in that long bony thing? She is nothing but an old bag with carrot-top hair. But he marry her anyway, and I am very glad. I forgive him because I understand him. He is a much spoiled boy. I am better off without him. But I understand, when a Latin lover like that make the woo, no girl can resist him." Diosa's energy, charisma, and talent as a dancer, singer, and comedienne landed her steady nightclub work, another Broadway part in 1941's Crazy with the Heat, and studio interest from Hollywood. Also in 1941, she performed opposite Buddy Ebsen, today best remembered as Jed Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies, in the Good Neighbor Policy film They Met in Argentina. They played the secondary comic relief parts of a bumpkin couple, he from North America and she from South. Although the plot was flimsy, Diosa had an opportunity to showcase both her comedy and dancing. The difference in their heights added to the comedy, but their dancing abilities were key to the success.
Howdy, ma'am. I don't suppose you habla United States.
Yes, senor, I do.
Well, looks like you got more than you can handle, ma'am.
It is very heavy.
Mind if I help you?
Oh, you're so kind, senor.
Shucks.
And so beautiful.
Oh, I ain't either. Hey, just a minute, buddy. I congratulate you, Mr. Be nice if you could play that in a lower key.
Si, senor.
Yeah, C major.
Si.
I congratulate... No, you don't get what I mean. I mean lower.
Oh.
Now, tell him what I mean, will you?
Estúpido, animal, no entiendo lo que te dice. Dice que toca un tono más bajo.
Ah, si.
Sí.
That's what I said the first time, see? I congratulate you, Mr. Cowboy, and I'm mighty darn happy to say it has happened, old partner, and now, boy, I've a reason for living today. Yahoo!
Yahoo! Yahoo! Yahoo! You said you had something to tell me. Now, what was it?
I did. This is it. Fair or foul, foul or fair, I've got you in my hair. Am I glad to have you there? No, ma'am. Hot or cold, cold or hot, you've put me on the spot. Do you really care a lot? You, ma'am, do, ma'am, not.
What?
You've got the best of me, so take the rest of me. There's only one of me, so don't make fun of me. I think it's fair to me to say take care of me as I take care of you. I'm never sure of you, and that's the lure of you. I want the most of you and not the ghost of you. Somehow in spite of you, I love the sight of you. So go ahead and get the best of.
letting your heart be your guide. Go to your lover who needs you, trembling to be by your side. Cut the cake, go to your true love. Use your heart, never your brain. Then at last you know you do love while you are caught in the curve.
¿Bailamos, Lolita?
With pleasure.
Dance!
Where did Tim get a hold of that?
¿Quién te ha dicho a ti que tú puedes estar mirando a otra mujer? Como yo te agarre mirando a otra mujer, te voy a romper el pescuezo, porque tú eres solamente mío, ¿sabes? Solamente mío. Yo no te voy a mirar a otra mujer. Yo no te quiero ver.
Oh, but look, honey,
Tú no tienes que estar mirando a la porque... A ver, vamos haciendo la feta, no faltaba más.
you took the words right out of my mouth.
Come on, let's dance.
I don't want to dance anymore.
What did you come down here for?
Never go to Argentina if you don't dance. Rhythm down in Argentina rhymes with romance. The music of the real guitar, the steel guitar is like a soft caress. With moon enough, quite soon enough, your only word is yes. Never go to Argentina, don't take a chance. Little girls in Argentina won't address you, won't caress you, not unless you dance. Stay at home if you don't believe in laughter. Stay at home if you never want to sing. Stay at home if it's solitude you're after. To a killjoy, Argentina doesn't mean a thing. Stay at home if you don't believe in living. Argentina's democratic, but romance is king. Never go to Argentina, don't take a chance. Little girls in Argentina won't address you, won't caress you, not unless you dance.
In the 1940s, her 20s and 30s, Diosa developed a successful nightclub career, touring the country and internationally. In the mid-1940s, she married Cuban band leader Pupi Campo, but the marriage lasted less than a decade. Pupi later married singer Betty Clooney, Rosemary's sister, whom he met working together on the original Jack Parr show. This was a strong period for Latin music in the U.S. The rumba remained popular through the 1930s and 40s, and in the early 50s the mambo craze struck. Xavier Cugat led one of the most popular orchestras in the country, but there were dozens of other Latin musicians, singers, and dancers, and Latin-themed clubs across the country. In popular usage, and especially in billings, Latin and Cuban were often interchangeable, and many Puerto Ricans, including Diosa, were billed as Cuban, or less commonly as Brazilian, Spanish, or Mexican. In 1945, Diosa co-starred in Laurel and Hardy's last Hollywood film, The Bullfighters. This film allowed her to play broad comedy as well as singing and dancing, but remained very much a stereotypical character.
Who is the dancer? She's most wonderful in all the world.
My little Conchita.
And who is going to fix it so I work at the cafe of the Bullfighters and be big success?
I am.
Oh, mi muchachi.
Come in. Well, come in, Richard K. Hiya, Hotshot. Hello, Sebastian. Well, now, I have good news for you. This week we have the finest bulls we've had in years.
Really?
Now, here's the committee selection. A big, fine, black, courageous one.
No. This one, big, fighty, so quick that he turned his tail around on a pace.
There's a beautiful animal.
Fine bull. Last Sunday he killed 3 matadors.
3, mind you.
What about the blind and contented one?
Well,
Blind and contented.
that's a breed of bulls they have in Barcelona, Spain. Now, you leave the pictures with me, and I'll make our selections later.
Well, you can't go wrong. Every one of those bulls is a killer. And every one worthy of your fine technique.
You said it, kid.
Say, why don't you take Don Sebastian out to the bull farm and let him make his own selection?
It's a good idea, and I'll call you at the office later.
Fine. Adios.
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 Come along, Conchita.
No. Come on this way.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Adios.
Adios. Come in, Richard K.
Hiya, Don Sebastian. Just dropped in to wish you good luck. And I brought a little present for you I thought you might like. This sword belonged to Jose Acapulco, the greatest toreador in Mexico. Why, with this sword, you could almost skin a bull alive.
Thanks.
How well I remember Jose Acapulco. He was graceful like a dancer. Ole, niños, salero, muchachos, salero. Oh, el toro. This is the way he makes his skill.
Oh! Listen to that crowd roar. Let us drink to your success. Don Sebastian, today you are going to make bullfighting history. Salute. Good luck. Come, Conchita, Hotshot, let's get to our seats.
Buena suerte, señor.
Good luck, and take it easy.
Put that down. You can't drink that stuff when we've got work to do.
I feel faint.
Well, I'll get you some smelling salts. Now, don't faint until I come back.
The film also records a performance derived from a nightclub act.
Now we present the original Latin bombshell, Conchita!
Bim bam boom, es un nuevo compás que los negros van bailando en la comparsa. Bim bam boom, la mulata Merced arrollando va detrás de la comparsa. Con negritos del solar ya no pueden cumbanchar porque quieren el compás de ese ritmo así. Muévelo, gózalo, báilalo. La mulata Merced arrollando va detrás de la comparsa.
Vamos a gozar, vamos a bailar, vamos a rumbear. ¡Vámonos!
Marvelous, Conchita, marvelous.
Muchas gracias, muchas gracias.
May I present Don Sebastian, Senorita Conchita.
Mucho gusto, señor, mucho gusto.
Say, take a bow. Not a big one.
Oh, mi muchachito, come. I'm going to teach you how to do the rumba.
Some other time. Right now I'm talking business with Don Sebastian and Hotshot.
Oh, no. You
No,
come
have it.
right
Go on,
now.
go on.
Come on. I'm only going to teach you 2 steps of conga, okay? Now, look, with your left foot, you walk over 3 steps to the left, and then you kick to the 4th, okay? Watch. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. Oh, it's very simple. Come on, let's try it now. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. Oh, that's wonderful. Come on, everybody. Now the second one. The second one, you kick. You walk just about the same, only you kick just a little bit different, like this. Watch. 1, 2, back, kick. 1, 2, back, kick. Oh, buddy. Now let's try the 4th one. Goes like this. Watch. 1, 2, down. 1, 2, down. Oh, you're doing fine. You're a brave boy. Now, 1, 2, down, up. 1, 2.
In early 1950, Diosa was tapped to play Bloody Mary in the first touring company of South Pacific. She considers this her most challenging part and took it on only after director Joshua Logan insisted. She performed across the country for over a year, then joined the Broadway company for over 6 months. Ironically, this Puerto Rican performer, sometimes billed as Cuban or Brazilian, became most widely known playing a Pacific Islander.
Bali high, may call you any night, any day. In your heart, you hear it call you. Come away, come away. Bali high will whisper on the wind of the sea. Here am I, your special island. Come to me, come to me.
In the 1950s, Diosa continued to play nightclubs across the country, with many visits to the clubs of Miami Beach and Las Vegas, and her billing for long after recalled her performance in South Pacific. She had a small part in 1953's Rita Hayworth vehicle, Miss Sadie Thompson, essentially reprising the character of Bloody Mary, and sharing the screen briefly with fellow Puerto Rican actor Jose Ferrer.
Hello, ciao. Maybe not so good, but not so bad.
Thanks, but I'll be eating out.
Like husband says, you are so wise. Come on, kid. It's time to hit the set. Yeah. Come on here now. Go out of bed. Come on.
It's so sticky, I hardly feel like eating.
The rain doesn't help much, does it?
How long will it last?
About 2 months, off and on.
Mostly on, if I remember the rainy season right.
Have you had dinner, Miss Thompson?
No. Thanks, Doctor. I'm not hungry.
That was very, very, very good indeed. Now, here we are. Here's the candy. I'll take you to one
Oh, get your candy. Say good night. Say good night. Come on, good night.
In their horn. Let me see. ¿Qué pelota hubo?
Oh, okay. Jujuja. Joe. Okay, Jujuja.
¿Qué pelota hubo?
Oh, talofa.
Tubo Samaya.
Let me see. ¿Qué pelota hubo? Okay.
Go get Dr. McPhail.
In 1959, Diosa staged a long-running show at the Lucerne Hotel in Miami, where she met a singer named Don Casino. In the early 1960s, they were married, and Diosa opened her own club at the Hotel Saxony. She moved to Las Vegas after the end of that marriage, where Pupi Campo's brother helped her get a good casino job, dealing blackjack. She returned to the stage at least twice, in 1971 for a touring revue called The Big Show of 1928, and in 1975 for a tribute performance for Joshua Logan, her director in South Pacific. The gendered ethno-racial stereotyping that limited her career remains very much a part of the professional experience of many Latino performers. All must find their own ways to proceed, but we should remember and learn from those who struggled before.
Happy talking, talking, happy talk. Talk about things you like to do. You got to have a dream. If you don't have a dream, how you got to have a dream come true? Talk about a moon floating in the sky, looking like a lily on a lake. Talk about a bird learning how to fly, making all the music he can make. Happy talking, talking, happy talk. Talk about things you like to do. You got to have a dream. If you don't have a dream,